I'd like to speak about my experience listening and watching two live streams of two different institutions, religious institutions. My first one was last Friday on the 31st of March, and that was a live stream from the East London Mosque and London Muslim Center. I thought that was very interesting. And my second one was last Sunday, Palm Sunday, the largest Quakers church in California called Yorba Linda, and I watched through that whole entire service. But I will start talking about the Islamic experience first. Okay, the speaker of that day was Sheikh Muzamil Ahmad. Not sure if I pronounced that correctly. He is an imam of that mosque, and what I noticed right away is that it started off right with his teaching. He greeted everyone in Arabic and just started teaching right away. I wasn't sure how such a service is built up. I thought maybe they pray together first or after, but it was just the preaching that I got to see. And a little bit of the audience I saw was all men. I know they are separated, men and women, from each other. They were all either kneeled or just sitting on the ground, basically. And most of them were wearing skin culps, I think it's called, these hats. So did the imam too. And yeah, I'll just share a little bit of his teaching that I thought was interesting. It was all about Ramadan, which has started already for Muslims. And yeah, he was talking about how Ramadan is a marathon, and he was giving encouragement in different ways how to stay strong during Ramadan, and how Allah rewards good deeds in general, but especially fasting is a really big one for Allah. And he also mentioned that Allah tries people out with suffering, and in that time you just have to stay patient and stay strong. And what I also thought was really cool, that he promoted giving charity in general. Allah wants you to give and help those that need help, basically. Be kind. I thought that was really cool. And then especially Ramadan teaches an individual how hungry poor people feel. I'm sure most of you know that during Ramadan you are not allowed to eat or even drink, not one sip of water, until the sun sets, from the morning on the whole day until the sun is setting, and then they're allowed to feast. And the whole concept, it must be really hard, honestly, thinking about it. I don't think I could do that. It would be really hard. I think it's awesome though that it teaches you how hungry people, how poor people feel, and it maybe encourages you more to give and help out. And I also really like that he used a lot of Arabic words. I don't speak fluent Arabic, but I understood a few words from my brother-in-law, who is also Turkish and used to be a Muslim. And my niece and my nephew, they both speak Arabic and Turkish, and then German and English. It was really cool to recognize some words that he said, like Hondola. It's a greeting. Sometimes he gave translations, but not always. That was okay with me. I figured everybody in the audience speaks fluent Arabic, I'm pretty sure. And then the teaching ended after 30 minutes with blessings, and also he turned into Arabic, but there was no translation. Just for a few minutes he was speaking Arabic, and I'm not sure what he said. And then it just cut off. It was definitely really interesting. It changed my perspective of Muslims quite a bit, actually, because I did not know that it was promoted to give to charity and to help each other. Yeah, I think that was actually all that I wanted to say. yeah, definitely an interesting experience, and I would honestly love to go in person one day to the female side of the mosque and join the women there just out of curiosity. I didn't felt up to it yet. I know there's a mosque in Big Rapids, is the closest one, and I wanted to first go there, but I also don't want to disrespect anyone, and I just don't know enough to feel comfortable there and not disrespecting anything, not knowingly. I'm not even sure how to put on a head scarf correctly, but maybe in the future I actually would be very interested in checking that out in person. Then on the following Sunday was Palm Sunday. I thought that was a good day to check out the Christian church, and since I'm writing my paper about Quakers Church, I chose the largest one here in America just to get a good idea. I had some fundamental ideas of Quakers, but there's a few things that did surprise me that I didn't know. I'm just gonna, okay, let's collect your thoughts again. Alright, so with this live stream, it showed me basically the entire service. It started off with a children's choir in the back. They were all dressed really nicely, and the worship leader was on stage. The band was on the side, you couldn't really see him, and the music was actually pretty cool too. Nothing against that, I really liked it. And after some worship, about like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, I want to say, Matthew Cork, who is the senior pastor of that church, came on stage and greeted the church and announced different events that are upcoming. Very similar than my own non-denominational church too so far. Then he prayed. That was also basically the same prayer that my father's church would pray, like any Christian church basically. Nothing different. Then after that, the children were coming back on stage and singing again in the choir, but just the children alone this time. That was really cute and sounded really awesome. And then the teaching pastor of that church, named Chris Ward, came on stage and started talking about his teaching. And that was all about the chapter Romans 16 from the Bible. He was specifically talking about, there's a lot of cool verses in Romans 16 alone that I wanted to write down, but it would have gotten too much. He was talking about how important it is to keep the church strong, all of the churches, that they need to be strong, and to not let them be shaped by the world, but to stick with the word, with the true word. And that is something I knew about the Quakers, that they want to just follow the pure word of the Bible. They don't want to add anything, they don't want to subtract anything, and they're trying to not wrongly interpret anything. And that's basically also the same that I follow in my non-denominational church. We try to only stick with the word and nothing else. And let's see, I really liked how he asked the audience, what would Paul say if he would come visit, see these churches, and what would he say about these churches of America nowadays? And he said that we would all agree he would probably be pretty bummed, and I think there would be a lot of letters written from Paul saying, why have you divided what Christ died to unite? And I thought it was really powerful of him to say, why have you divided what Christ died for to unite? And unfortunately, we all know there's so many different denominations of Christian churches, and it's another reason that I belong to a non-denominational, because I don't agree with all these divisions, this split up. I just want to be one big church. So that's another thing that Quakers have in common with my religion too, that we want to be one, and we don't want to divide and argue and fight with other churches and don't agree with them. He also mentioned the gender equality, which is awesome. That's also something Quakers do. They absolutely promote that men and women are of equal value in the eyes of God, and we should act and live according to that. Same with diversity of ethnicity. That is absolutely not important to God, and in Quakers church, if you're rich or poor, doesn't matter. Everybody is the same, basically. We all share the same worth. I also liked about his teaching that he would throw in some Greek words that he would translate. That's how I like to read the Bible too, is I like to not only look at the context, of course, but also check out the original Greek words. And that helps me sometimes understand things a little better. Yeah. After his teaching, he would pray over everybody, and then the children choir came back on stage to sing, and the senior pastor came at the very end back on and just said goodbye to everyone. I thought this was a really cool experience. I had no idea that Quakers are this similar to my own religion. What I really liked is that the focus was always entirely on Jesus, which is the same for my religion too. And for everybody who was wondering what Palm Sunday is, last Sunday, that is the Sunday before Easter, 1 week before Easter, and it just marks the first day of the Holy Week, basically, in Western Christianity. On that day, they celebrate and remember when Jesus was riding on a donkey and entered the city of Jerusalem, and the citizens would come with the palm sticks and would lift it up in the air to praise and to welcome and greet, but also put them to the ground for Jesus and the donkey to ride over. And even their coats, some people even put their coats on the ground for Jesus to welcome him and greet him into the city. It was a really cool story from the Bible. Actually mentioned in all 4 Gospels. That's how important and powerful that story is. Those were my 2 experiences.